Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Sturgis, the creator and facilitator of Surviving Grief and the author of Surviving Grief 365 Days a Year. I named my Facebook page Surviving Grief, and I also named my book Surviving Grief. And I think some people struggle with the title of my book, Surviving Grief, and my Facebook page with the same name. The reason I'm talking about surviving grief and what it means to me is because I see comments and I get emails from people that say there's no surviving grief. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people visualize surviving the loss of someone they love and what that survival will look like. But surviving isn't a place you eventually arrive at. It's a road you walk, and it's a journey that you take. So the way I see it, there are two paths of surviving on that journey. One path is where you stay open to the possibility that life goes on and you let yourself bend and conform to the shape of your feelings. The other path is giving in to total collapse and despair until you get stuck and can't move forward. So I believe that we have a choice of which one of those paths we're going to take. And I think that when I talk about surviving grief, I'm talking about the fact that we're all here. There's so much grief in the world. There's so much sadness, and I think that surviving grief also means that we're all here together. I don't think we survive grief alone. I think we survive it together. And so what we do and how we share our stories and how we support each other, that's how we're surviving grief. So here's the thing. Everyone has advice for the grieving people of the world. Assumptions they make about time and healing, like it gets easier with time or you need closure. And if you know me, you know that I don't believe in closure. I don't believe that we find closure from our loss, because how do we, closure implies that once we get this closure, then we're all done grieving. Our losses, our grief is over and we're done. And I don't believe that. So I don't believe that there is such a thing as closure. And I also believe, although time softens our grief, it doesn't end our grief. Our grief stays with us. Our grief stays with us for as long as the person we love is going to be dead. And so as long as that person, if someone asks me how long am I going to be grieving, I usually say, well, how long is the person you love going to be dead? So many of us find it gets much harder with time, and that there's no such thing as closure. And I'm one of those people. And so these things are thrown at us because some people are so uncomfortable with anything they can't fix or someone they can't rescue. So to me, surviving grief is finding a way to emerge from this loss and this grief that we have, and to catch our breath again. It's about being open to the possibility of seeing the light, because if you don't, the danger is you'll stay constantly in the darkness. So I wish I could assure you that life will be better tomorrow or the next day or even next year, because it may, but it might also linger and at random times take your breath away again. So that's why I wrote my book, Surviving Grief 365 Days a Year, to let you know that I'm here for you and I'm throwing you a life ring. So I hope that you'll hang on to it and we'll keep surviving grief together. So again, that's what I believe surviving grief is all about. I do hope that you realize how important it is to have this community and to share your stories. And I want you to know how much I appreciate your comments and your posts and when you share your own experiences, because everything that you share can be a little nugget of knowledge or information to help someone else along the way, especially if someone is behind you in their grief journey. You're a beacon for them. You're a light that they can follow to know that you're surviving as well. And again, I just want to say that, there are two paths to surviving grief. And when I get emails from people that say there's no surviving grief, I guess I tend to disagree, because what I believe surviving grief is about is to help surviving isn't a place you eventually arrive at. It's a road you walk and a journey that you take, and how we take that journey depends on how our healing begins. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for reading my books. And I hope that you'll always remember that wherever you go in life, whoever you are and wherever you may be on your journey, you're welcome here in my Surviving Grief community. Take care of yourself, and remember, we're all just walking each other home.